everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Liz Nally Tillman here, and I'm so thrilled to welcome you to Friday, to day 10 of the 12 Days of Self-Care Challenge. Now, if you're new to this whole setup, let me catch you up very quickly. The 12 Days of Self-Care Challenge is a personal challenge to myself to see if I could go live to get over my fear and discomfort with doing live videos on Facebook and stuff like that, stepping outside of my comfort zone so that I can grow as a person and a professional. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, let me jump right in. And inspired by the 12 days of Christmas, I'm giving you the 12 days of self-care. So since December the 26th, the day after Christmas, for this is day 10 now, 10 days straight, I've been doing Facebook Lives off on different themes every single day. And based on the things that my true self gave to me for the 12 days of self-care, you see where this is going. And every day I've been sharing self-care tips, information, inspiration, so that anybody who comes across any of these videos or the entire series, if you take them all in, can get a jump start on their self-care journey heading into 2019 and beyond. So day one was all about a blanket and a cup of green tea, which represented taking care of your physical safety and your health, doing a better job at that and prioritizing that for yourself. Day two was about scented candles, which was about tapping into the power of aromatherapy, which stimulates our limbic systems and stimulating our senses in a positive way, and the benefits of that as self-care. Day three was 3 Kindle books, which was about feeding our minds carefully because we are what we eat. And I shared some of my favorite reads and watches, meaning things to watch and read. Day 4 was about 4 yoga classes, which was about physical fitness and staying physically fit and getting up, moving around and taking care of ourselves that way. Day 5 is my favorite, 5 minutes to breathe, which was just about taking time for ourselves, establishing office hours at home and retreating to our she sheds and man caves every now and then so that we can take that time to come down at the end of a busy day and recharge by ourselves. Day 6 was about music, 6 awesome playlists, because music soothes and feeds the soul, and it can pump you up when you're down, and it can chill you out when you're stressed. Day 7 was about 7 friends for dinner, and that's about connecting with your tribe. And these are people who lift you up and keep you up. Not the haters, not the, those other folks out there, the toxic people, whatever. But this was about nurturing your relationships that keep you lifted by connecting with your tribe. And 7 friends for dinner represented that. Day 8 was about 8 mani-pedis and taking time every once in a while to splurge responsibly and luxuriate and treat yourself. Why? Because you're worth it, you deserve it, and that's all an act of self-love and self-esteem building responsibly. Day 9, yesterday, was about 9 guided meditations, and I talked about mindfulness and the power of mindfulness in tapping into the law of attraction, which is basically focusing on the things that you want to manifest in your life and learning breathing techniques. And I shared some books and resources and examples from celebrity life, from celebrities that have achieved the next level of excellence in what they do by practicing mindfulness and and tapping into the power of meditation and breathing and just, thinking about getting started with a mindfulness practice as part of your self-care journey. So those were the first 9 days. And I got some flack offline, I have to say, I'll admit it, because day 9, the song is getting kind of long because now we're into day 9. So I thought it was too long to sing it twice, once at the beginning of the broadcast and once at the end. And I got a little bit of flack from somebody offline saying, yo, you robbed me. I didn't get to hear you sing it twice. So I will fix that today. I apologize. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. I will sing it twice today. So today, well, let me just jump right into the song and we'll get into what my true self gave to me on day 10 of the 12 Days of Self-Care Challenge. Okay, here we go. Warming up my vocal cords, but it's not going to help me sound any better. You know, at least you have fair warning that I'm about to start singing. Okay, here we go. So on the 10th day of self-care, my true self gave to me 10% interest, 9 guided meditations, 8 mani-pedis, 7 friends for dinner, 6 awesome playlists, 5 minutes to woo-saw and breathe, 4 yoga classes, 3 Kindle books, 2 scented candles, and a blanket with a cup of green tea. Okay, 10% interest. Doesn't that sound awesome if you could earn 10% interest on your savings? Now, I realize gone are the days where CDs and fixed interest deposit accounts and things like that are paying 10% interest. But for the purposes of the song, it was how I could fit in a day focused on reminding us to stay fiscally fit, meaning taking care of your finances, budgeting. Throughout this entire challenge, everything that I've been suggesting, all of the tips and tricks and things like that, I've always given you low-cost options to do everything that I'm suggesting, because I know finances are hard right now. The government's in a shutdown. Money is tight. I get it. Whether you live by, when I was single, I used to think, oh man, if I could only just be married, because then I'd have 2 incomes. Well, you know what happens when you have 2 incomes? You have twice as many expenses, right? And now that I'm married, sometimes I'm like, oh man, things are a lot easier when I was single. So the grass is always greener, but the color of money stays the same, right? And what I've learned, and I've struggled in this department to get better in managing my fiscal health over the years, and I've gotten better. I still have a ways to go, but I work at it every single day. But what I've learned is, if we don't change our mindsets and how we think about money and what money represents to us and how we interact with our money, if we don't change how we think about managing our money and change our relationship with money and make it healthier, then it doesn't matter if we make $1 a year or $10 million a year, we'll still always be broke, because it's a function of how we think. Wealth creation is based very substantially on how we think. I think that religious organizations, they tap into the power of tithing. And, I'm not a religious person, I'm not a spiritual coach or anything like that, but I do know tithing. It means, you give 10% of your income to help support the church in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And when I was growing up, my mom and my grandmother used to always say, if you make $1, save 10 cents. And my grandmother, I'm going to give her a shout out because I was named after her. And she was a maid. She worked in the segregated South, black women cleaning white women's kitchens and homes her entire life. She was not wealthy, but when she passed away at the age of 90 something, she had over $3,000 in the bank, cash. She had no debt. She owned 3 acres of land, and she had a house that was paid for. Not too bad. So my grandma really lived beneath her means. And my mom and dad did the same thing. I'm working very hard to get there as well. But, I often think about my grandma, because it wasn't about how much money she made, but she literally saved 10 cents. If she made $1, she saved a dime. She was very, very, very much committed to that. But she was a Christian woman, and she believed in the Bible, and she lived her life that way. And she always paid her tithes, and she always paid her bills. So I'm just putting this out there to say, you don't have to be wealthy to make sure that you handle your financial business. Because here's the thing, when you have no money, if you're good with your money, You're going to be even better with your money when you make money. Okay. I was just talking to my daughter the other day, my original oldest, and we sat down and we did a budget together because she was so stressed, which is the perfect link to self-care, because she was so stressed over, her bills and because she's out there adulting in the world at 21 and stuff and trying to do her thing. And she was so stressed over certain things about her financial situation. I was like, woosah. Let's just put it on a piece of paper. And you do this too. This is a great process. And so we just went through every fixed expense that she had. So these were bills, predictable bills that she had every single month. How much for this? How much for rent? How much for utilities? How much for insurance? How much for the car? And we itemized all those things. And then we looked at how much is her income, her fixed income, like expected income that she can count on, because she has, she does some entrepreneurial type things, but that fluctuates. But how much can you have, and what's the difference? Now, when we did that, her stress level immediately improved, because she saw on paper that she had extra money at the end of the month after all her bills were paid, after she had eaten some stuff and put gas in her car and dealt with her variable expenses, that she was doing much better than she thought. But she had never written it down and looked at it before. So if you've never made a budget, or it's been a while since you've made your budget, take a few minutes and go through it. There's some great free budget templates on the internet, where you could get Quicken or whatever software you want to use, or just write it like me and my daughter did on the back of a napkin. I literally did it on the back of an envelope with her. And it can really help you gain more confidence in your situation. And if for some reason you're running at a deficit, then at least you know. Right? And you've got everything mapped out, so you can say, okay, where do I need to cut? Maybe a little, a couple of fewer trips to Starbucks, or a little less this, or a little more that, or maybe I need to shop more as opposed to eating out more, or whatever the case may be. But you can figure out what those little adjustments are to get yourself in a better situation. A lot of time, fear keeps us from really taking an honest look and at our financial situations. But don't do that, because that will only stress you out, because then you'll stay up all night worrying about, my goodness, I need to make more money, A lot of the times the answer to the question isn't that you need to make more money. A lot of times it's just that you need to spend a little bit less, or you know what I mean? Or spend what you're spending differently. And do yourself a favor. Make saving something every paycheck, every month, part of your budget. Why? Because when you want to treat yourself, like we saw in day 8, you'll have the money, because it'll be there and you can spend it without apology or worrying that you're doing something irresponsible or getting in over your head. And if you can't, if you save as much as you can, use 10% as a goal. And if you can't save 10% of your income straight off the bat, start with $10. Start small, but do it regularly, right? And then reevaluate your progress, maybe, every 3 months, every 6 months, and then give yourself a raise in your savings account, right? Once you get better at managing your money and seeing where you are, add $5. So if you start with 10 in, 3 months, 6 months, see if you can increase it to 15 or whatever. But the point is that we all have to get better with budgeting, saving our money, and managing our money instead of allowing our money to manage us. Because when we do that, it's part of your self-care journey, because it alleviates that stress. And, money ruins marriages. It ruins relationships. It can really ruin you in a lot of ways, worrying about money. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of your financial business and paying your bills, managing your credit. Credit is not a bad thing. It can quickly become a very scary, out of control thing, but you need to manage your credit. Don't let your credit manage you. Okay. And get control of your budget, manage your finances. And if you need help in this area, get help. There's a ton of books, ton of resources, ton of experts out there who are willing to do it. And help you through this process. But in its most basic form, it's about making sure that you're spending less than what you make and putting a little bit off to the side. That's it. It's no scarier than that, really. If my grandma can do it, making the little bit of money that she made working as a maid, anybody can do it. And my grandmother was the first she was one of 11 brothers and sisters, and she was the only one to finish high school. And she was very, very proud of that. She never got her driver's license, but she finished high school. So she valued education and learning. She was a Christian woman, so she valued the principles of the church, and she tried to live them every day. And like I said, she handled her fiscal business. She lived beneath her means and on very little money, but she had a very comfortable life by anybody's standards. So if she can do it, we can do it. And even though I'm still every day struggling to live up to her excellent example and the example that my mom and dad set for me, I'm trying to get better at saving more and everything. But I'm a lot better today than I was a year ago. And a year ago, I was better than I was 5 years before that, 10 years before that. Remember, one of my favorite quotes, and Denzel Washington says this in the first Equalizer movie, that it's about progress, not perfection. You don't have to be perfect. So if you don't make your savings goal, if you're struggling a little bit in some area of your finances or whatever the case it may be, don't beat yourself up. Right? Take the time, celebrate that victory. If you wanted to save $10 this month and maybe you only save $7, it's okay. That's $7 more than you were able to save before. Okay? And so just keep at it. Like I said, it's about progress, not perfection. You only lose when you stop trying. Okay? So this is a very, very, very important lesson today, and I had to put it into my self-care challenge because, like I said before, finances can ruin a lot of things. Look at what's going on in Washington with our government right now. People are fighting over money. The Democrats and Republicans, build a wall, don't build a wall, this thing or that. And it's all about money, and people's lives are at stake. People are wondering how they're going to pay their bills and their, and stuff like that. And money it ruins marriages, it can wreck relationships, it could give you ulcers, you could stress over it and everything. And, like that song by the OJs, people do bad things for it and stuff like that. Don't be that person. That's what happens when you let your money manage you. Manage your money. Don't let it manage you. So that's my lesson. My point for today is I wish you all 10% interest on all of your investments and your savings or more. But if you can't get that, then just put some money aside for yourself, make your budget, make sure you understand what your income is relative to your expenses. And if you need to tweak a few things, and give yourself permission to be less than perfect in managing your money. But commit to making progress in those areas. If you're in debt, pay down your debt. If you're trying to save for something, you got a big expense coming, then save for it and stay the course. That's the thing. And because when you do that and you keep at it and you do what you need to do and you take your financial woes off the table, life gets a lot more enjoyable after that. So let's take our fiscal challenges off the table because we know we've got them covered, okay? That's my self-care wish for you, is that your financial worries get taken off the table so they're not stressing you because you've got it covered, okay? So with that, I will sign off. I'll wish you a happy Friday. I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm at a conference all day tomorrow, so I don't know when I'll be able to jump on, but if I miss you tomorrow, I'll be on Sunday. And again, these are all topics that I blog about, I talk about in my courses and my workshops and stuff like that. So if you want more information and you want to work with me one-on-one on this stuff, let me know. But But regardless of that, if you like the series, if this is of value to you or you think it can help other people, please hit the like button, please share it, and invite people to come on back over to my page and catch the whole series, which will be on my YouTube page and my Facebook page here at Ian Tillman. And with that, I am going to sign off by singing the song again. So here we go. So on the 10th day of self-care, my true self gave to me 10% interest, 9 guided meditations, 8 mani-pedis, 7 friends for dinner, 6 awesome playlists, 5 minutes to breathe, 4 yoga classes, 3 Kindle books, 2 scented candles, and a blanket with a cup of green tea. Tracy Davis Edwards, I love you, my sister. Thank you so much for your support. And yes, we are not alone, right? We're in this thing together, which means we can conquer this thing together. We can do it together. So thank you for tuning in every single day, and for the share and the likes, and for the feedback. I really appreciate you. All right, everybody else, have a great Friday night, and I will hope to see you tomorrow. And if not, I'll definitely see you on Sunday. Good night, everybody.